Check this video out, chat. It's called How Red Bull Built Its Empire. Okay, so say what's up to YouTube.
Of Red Bull, you'll probably pay about $3 or your local currency.
Fucking, it's $3. That's too expensive, right? If a can of Red Bull, how much is it for us here in Sweden? It's like 17 crowns. So that's like how much is that? That's not even $2.
Equivalent. 9 cents of that goes towards paying for actually making the beverage you consume.
9
The rest
cents?
goes towards everything else. And as you undoubtedly know, in Red Bull's case, everything else is a tremendous amount.
Well, they be
Some
doing
portion
anything.
of that $3 goes towards paying for this, the company's headquarters. And this company headquarters is so far from normal. It's not in a major city. It's not even in a minor city.
Bro, did you actually say I haven't watched F1 even one time? The only thing I can advise you is watch Drive to Survive on Netflix, and that show will get you interested in F1, 100%. But bro, Red Bull be doing different shit, bro. They don't just be doing F1; they be doing anything, bro.
It's in the small Austrian mountain town of Fuschel am See. This is a town with one supermarket,
Red Bull is
2 coffee
Austrian?
shops,
It's not
1 bank,
German?
and one globally known multinational beverage enterprise. For one of the world's most recognizable brands, it's a remarkably tiny
Trust me,
global HQ. It'd take no longer than 3 minutes to walk from one side of the property to the other, and it's bounded by an insurance broker on one side, residential homes on another, and a small hotel on
Let me hear it. What's your favorite energy drink? Okay, I've actually vowed to stop drinking energy drink. Y'all should join me too. But what's your favorite ones? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think Celsius is my favorite energy drink of all time. It used to be Monster actually when I was a bit younger, but Celsius has taken the spot. It's just too. Monster is too sugary in my opinion. That week skiing and saw Red Bull filming a skiing vid. That ass, bro. You should have asked them to be in it, bro. Hit a backflip, bro, from a slope, bro.
a third. It's got no walls or fences or gatehouses. In fact, the public is even permitted to stroll through its gardens.
That
There's
ass?
no great strategic logic behind this location. Rather, Red Bull's
Triple
co-founder,
backflip, that's
Dietrich
mad.
Mateschitz, just liked Fuschel. He liked the privacy it afforded and the outdoors it gave access to, and he wanted to live there. The headquarters is small scale, maybe surprising compared to the global stature of the company, but less so when considering its actual operating structure. After all, at its core, Red Bull is a pretty simple and sugar-free fruit-flavored editions. Each of these is sold in a couple different sizes to fit
No racism. The watermelon one is the best one. Just saying.
different distribution channels and markets, but that's pretty much it. That's their entire product lineup. Compare this to their closest yet smaller competitor, Monster Energy, which
yep.
sells so many different variants, seasonal, co-branded, and regional flavors, that there's not even a definitive count of how many different beverages they sell, though the rough estimate is around 150 at a given time.
Jeez.
Adding to their simplicity, Red Bull doesn't even manufacture their own product. They contract Austrian fruit juice company Rausch to do it for them. In their early days, Red Bull hardly had the money to set up dedicated production facilities, but as part of the
How
small
old is
Austrian
Red Bull?
business community, co-founder Mateschitz had connections to the Rausch family and convinced them to handle it. Today, little has changed in this arrangement but the scale, but even then, most of the world's Red Bull is still manufactured in the shadow of the Alps, and all of it by the fruit juice company. Their largest
Bro just said, wonder what Red Bull contains. Freaking gasoline, bro. Like petrol, bro. Horse tranquilizer or some shit, bro.
manufacturing site is
That shit is not healthy. I don't care what anybody
in
says.
Budapest, Austria. It's co-located with a Ball Corporation factory who's contracted to make Red Bull's bespoke cans, not used for any other beverage, while the direct rail
Bro,
and highway
tell
access
me
allows for
how
easy
much
onward
they
distribution
spend
logistics.
on the
A
F1
similar
cars,
setup
bro.
is
That's what I want to
replicated
know.
mere miles away, just over the border into Switzerland. It's got a Rausch factory, a Ball Corporation plant, along with direct rail and
Rauch.
highway
It's probably
access
that's how
too.
you pronounce it.
Until 2021, every single can of Red Bull sold anywhere in the world came from one of these two sites until the company worked with Rausch to start making product in Red Bull's biggest market, the US. So the setup was replicated a third time in the outskirts of Phoenix,
America.
Arizona. Rausch factory here, Ball Corporation plant here, rail access here, highway access there. Keeping a 17 product line with 2 manufacturing partners going just isn't that involved, which explains why the
It is such an
vast,
overrated
vast
drink,
majority
though.
of people at Red Bull
Honestly,
do
it is.
not
It is
believe
hella
in
overrated.
making Red Bull. Rather, they focus on what $1 of every Red Bull sale goes towards, convincing
Come on,
you
we're
to
about
buy
to
a
know.
can. From its beginning, Red Bull was more a
I like
marketing
that.
company than a drinks company. Prior to co-founding it, Dietrich Mateschitz worked at a consumer goods multinational called Blendax as the marketing manager.
Who's the other guy in the stream? Bro, you scared the shit out of me, bro. Oh my god, you scared the shit out of me, bro. What the hell? Why did you say that? Oh my god, I thought somebody was standing behind me. Oh my god, my heart fell into my ass, bro. Oh my god. Bro, Sigma, don't do that shit to me,
For
bro.
one of their lines of toothpaste.
Don't do that shit to
This
me.
often took him to Asia,
my
and at the
God.
time, the 70s and 80s, energy drinks were already widespread across the continent despite being nearly unheard of in the West. On one of Mateschitz' trips, as the fable goes, he was sitting at the bar of the Mandarin Oriental Hong Kong, chatting with fellow travelers and flipping through the latest edition of Newsweek. Inside, he found an article highlighting that Japan's single largest taxpayer was energy drinks manufacturer Lipovitan. Details get a bit fuzzy and conflicting on what exactly happened next, but what we know for sure is that Mateschitz hated his job, he wanted to start his own company, and these factors combined with his new awareness of the
Wait,
fortunes
what do you
found in
mean?
energy drinks,
Energy drinks
brought
were
him
in
to TC
in Asia
Pharmaceutical
before
Industries, the Thai
Europe?
manufacturers of a drink called Krating Dang, or in English, Red Bull. Sensing opportunity, the Austrian struck a
Krating
deal
Ball.
with the Thai manufacturer.
How many languages could I say Red Bull in? Red Bull. Röd Tjur. Yeah, that's the only thing I got.
They each invested
That's the only-
$500,000 into a new company, Red Bull GmbH, that reformulate and rebrand the product into one targeted at Western consumers. Krating Dang, like
Wait,
most
so they
Asian
started
drinks
in
at the
Asia
time,
before?
was sold in small glass bottles and was intended to be consumed more as a shot.
Bro,
It was not
this shit
about
looks
its
like
taste, it was about its function.
this shit looks
Mateschitz
like
spent the next few
medicine.
years reformulating this baseline into a drink intended more for sipping. He wanted
Damn.
something that tasted less like medicine and more like soda, so he added carbonation, reduced sweetness, introduced a touch of acidity, and expanded the default format into larger
Yeah, vitalizes it. Like it'll give it fucking cocaine. That's what it does.
250 milliliter cans. Come April 1st, 1987, after a prolonged process gaining regulatory approval to sell the novel product, Red Bull hit store shelves in its new home country of Austria. It was initially positioned
thought
as
Red Bull was
premium
German.
and elusive, sold for far more than the average soda. Mateschitz went around and convinced bars one by one to stock it. Its novelty intrigues people, and bartenders would push it as a mixer to work with vodka or Jaeger. Mateschitz also guerrilla marketed it in the places and contexts he thought Red Bull would be most useful. He'd hand it out for free at university campuses during exam weeks, businesses that late-night taxi drivers frequented, anywhere where people would struggle yet want to stay awake.
Bro, imagine.
All his efforts were compounded
Damn.
by strong word-of-mouth spread throughout the small country.
Bro, this man really,
The new
bro.
product was
What does this teach us, bro? You gotta be persistent, bro. If she says she doesn't want to talk to you, keep following her, bro. That's what I'm learning, bro. If you're trying to get rich and nothing's working, go rob somebody. Bro, I'm learning, bro. I'm learning. I'm gonna go watch The Hobbit. Have a good one. Take care, Sigma, bro. Love. Appreciate you coming through.
Flashy, and it made for a good topic of conversation. In its first full year of operations, Red Bull sold 1.2 million cans, then it followed that up with 1.7 the next, and quickly reached profitability.
See ya,
a
bro.
hurdle every entrepreneur dreams of. But after jumping over this first hurdle, Mateschitz only saw the next one. Red Bull had to expand in his mind, but he simply
Whoa.
just wasn't allowed to. They were struggling to gain regulatory approval in any viable market, as national regulators were wary to approve a product with taurine in particular, a food additive that lacked any long-term consumption research, fueling legitimate fears that frequent
Edvin Corporated one gifted a tier 1 sub to Dreamy_Annie1.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, Edwin.
ban there, but the wealth
The only thing I know about Red Bull is it tastes like gas and then gives you gas. That's what I know, you know? So
larger markets to the west just wouldn't budge. But then, Mateschitz just simply got incredibly lucky. On January 1st, 1993, the European
genuinely
Union
though, I appreciate it,
launched
Edwin.
single markets.
Love, bro.
Now, all member states would remove almost all trade barriers, meaning their economies would effectively morph into one. As
Wait,
part
that's
of
not
this,
EU.
every
It's
product approved
smaller.
for sale in one EU country was usually, with some caveats, approved for sale in all EU member countries. The caveats did slow launch in many of these markets, but as they were progressively sorted out, France was the last EU country to allow the company in 2008. But all
Damn.
in all, Red Bull's prevalence expanded massively in a short period of time following the 1993 liberalization. Now, they just needed to convince people to buy it. Going bar to bar wouldn't work anymore. Mateschitz had to find a way to get a lot of people to hear about Red Bull.
I know how he did it now. I think I know. That's why they did all of these stunts and stuff to get people to. Oh my god, it makes
Already
sense.
actually come up with the answer. It was late summer 1985.
It makes sense.
The
It makes
Austrian
sense.
Grand Prix was on at the Österreichring, now known as the Red Bull Ring. Austrian driver Gerhard Berger was in the midst of his second season, picking up decent points in the midfield, when a random guy, Dietrich Mateschitz, walked up to him and pitched his novel business idea to sell caffeinated soda to the masses. Mateschitz offered $10,000 to Berger in exchange for carrying his drink around in the paddock, using a branded water bottle, and some other small obligations.
That's
and even
how it
though this
started?
was a borderline offensively small sum for a Formula One sponsorship deal, Berger genuinely needed the money, so he agreed.
What a broke ass
With this,
F1
he became
driver.
the first of thousands upon thousands of storied Red Bull athletes. This deal produced images like this. These images were how Red Bull got its message out to the world. It was that this is a high-performance athlete.
Bro, the like iconic Red Bull can design has always been the same.
Their job is to be the best at whatever they do, and they drink this beverage that helps them perform at that level. Every time a high-performance athlete was pictured with the Red Bull logo, the subconscious of everyone that saw that image started to associate Red Bull with performance. When those people wanted to perform, they would remember that Red Bull was what the professionals used to perform. Then they'd buy it, Red Bull would earn $3, and they'd use one of those to do this all again. Still at a somewhat moderate
Genius.
scale, Red Bull couldn't afford to sponsor the best
Genius.
of the best in the very biggest sports, so they started small, into the sports that Mateschitz himself was fixated with, and focused on having the biggest impact in niche and underdeveloped sports, particularly
That's
those
so
involving
smart.
adrenaline, risk-taking, and highly visual moments.
Because it fits in with the
Importantly,
brand.
Red Bull almost always sponsored individual athletes rather than teams, events, or leagues. They focused on finding the best of the best in whatever they do. Athletes like Jessica Fox. She's the world's definitive preeminent canoe slalomist, having earned 3 Olympic gold medals and 4 world championship titles.
I don't even know what that
Or
is, but that
freestyle
just sounds
motocross
fire.
rider Robbie Madison, who broke the motorcycle jump world record in 2007, surpassing a distance even Evel Knievel himself said was impossible, and landing at
Sheesh.
322 feet or 90
Bro, he looks like Chris
meters.
Martin.
And even in bigger sports, the company developed strategies to compound their dollars' effects by finding less than preeminent athletes who attracted disproportionate attention. Tom Pidcock, for example, is a cyclist who is not at the top of the top in any one discipline, but earns high name recognition based on the fact that he's near the top in both road cycling and mountain biking, an almost
That ass?
unheard of combination. He's still crossed Tour de
That
France
sounds
finish lines in
crazy.
first and won an Olympic gold medal, and whenever he's contractually
Really?
allowed to, he's wearing pieces of gear adorned with the Red Bull logo. In order to attract top-tier talent,
It looks like
Red Bull
somebody
not only
like
offered a top
that picture looked like a person in front of him, like biking, just dropped a mad dumper on his body, bro, on his face, bro. That's what it looks like. Ugh.
of top-tier coaches, sports scientists, nutritionists, and rehab trainers housed in top-notch training centers in Austria and LA, or at well-funded training camps in whatever locations are relevant for a given sport. The degree of support their athletes get is often far, far above what is typical in the niche sports they touch.
I ain't even a
As
person that
marketing
likes
spend
Red
grew
Bull,
through
but like
time,
that is
Red Bull
cold.
had the ability to compound its awareness through compounding its influence in the chosen extreme, splashy, yet small sports. They started to not only sponsor individual athletes, but transform entire sports. You see, larger sports have governing bodies. FIFA for soccer, World Athletics for running, ITF for tennis.
Yep.
These institutions set rules, standards, and put on high-level, often championship competition in their respective domains. Niche sports often lack these governing bodies, meaning competition is clunky with different groups working in different, sometimes incompatible ways,
see what they
leading to a
do
lack
now.
of progression and opportunities at the top end of each sport. Red Bull would enter these sports and produce the best funded events with the biggest prizes, immediately attracting top level talent, becoming the event they build their seasons around, and incentivizing those across the sport to make their style of competition compatible with the way Red Bull did things, naturally standardizing the sport. In cliff diving, they produced the Cliff Diving World Series, the definitive world championship for the sport. In freeride mountain biking, the company puts on Red Bull Rampage, once again, the preeminent event in the sport. The same goes for big air kiteboarding with Red Bull King of the Air. The biggest athletes, the most media, the most attention. In parkour and slacklining and enduro and more, it's the same. Red Bull's events play a massive central role. This means that in many of the world's most visually interesting sports, the best athletes take their biggest risks producing the most captivating moments in front of a Red Bull logo. People performing at their highest level while the Red Bulls are seared into your brain. Eventually, the energy drink company had accumulated enough money to have a big impact in a big sport, and the place to start was obvious. They'd compete
Bro,
in
they have their own
Massachusetts' favorite
team now, bro.
sport. It was time to enter Formula One. Conveniently, Ford was exiting it. They were losing hundreds of millions of dollars a year, they weren't winning, and corporate just no longer considered it worth it. Being bad at making cars was not exactly a strong marketing message for a car company, so the team was slated to close up shop at the end of 2004. Formula
Wait,
One
Ford
the
used to have
wouldn't
a
automatically
team?
allow new entrants without a lengthy application process, so it was far easier for Massachusetts to buy Ford's team, and considering how much money it was losing, Ford offered it, including all its infrastructure like staff, a factory, and an engine contract, for just a single dollar.
What?
Red Bull then invested a
No
ton
way.
of money, hired a winning combination of team principal Christian Horner and
Christian
aerodynamicist Adrian Newey, and it worked. By 2009, they won their first race, and just a year after, they won both the drivers
Now they
and
just
the
be winning
Constructors'
every time, bro.
Championships, starting a 4-year streak of winning both. Their first of 2 golden eras, the second including 4 drivers and 3
And
constructors.
then where's Verstappen, bro?
While Formula One might not be the biggest sport in many countries, its uniquely global reach still makes it one of the world's very biggest spectator sports leagues, driving just a simply massive amount of attention towards the words Red Bull.
Bro, when this video actually breaks it down, it's actually mad
Red Bull
how Red Bull
truly
did
flipped
it.
the script on how marketing works. Rather than creating a fictional narrative involving their product to play on TV, they manufactured real-world moments displaying or implying their product at use. They built a global, stunningly legitimate athletic
Crazy.
machine to manufacture moments the world would crave to see. And they managed to do so while being a legitimate force for good. Red Bull, the overall
Force
company,
for
hardly is
good?
a net positive
I don't know
for the
about that.
world. It's hard to find merit in driving up caffeine and sugar consumption rates, but if you set the public health
Facts.
costs aside, there are many, many corners of the world of athletics where their influence has meaningfully improved the lives of athletes.
Enlighten me.
For that, there are countless admirable, influential athletes who feel genuine goodwill towards the company. Their passions are better because of this energy drinks company. This means that plenty of people, both athletes and fans, don't think of Red Bull as an energy drinks company. They think of them as an institution. This
I don't know about that one though, cause like Leipzig fans and like people, there's a lot of people I know in football at least that don't like Red Bull, cause what they've done to football.
institutionality has, for decades now, cemented Red Bull's position of market supremacy. They are the energy drinks company.
Serve chill.
Everyone else
Serve
is just
très
those
fort.
who attempt to emulate.
Interesting. Now I know how Red Bull did it, bro. I appreciate it, y'all. Love for the love.